Welcome back, everybody. Welcome to the Being Mother Hustler podcast. And I am so super pumped because we have the one and the only mother hustler building an empire over there in Miami.
Oh, yeah.
Elena Cardone. Welcome, Elena.
Oh, thanks so much for having me on your show. I love the name.
Thank you, sister. Well, I've been following you since since pretty much you've been Grant's wife, right? But now you're killing it. You're on your own. You're supporting and uplifting your hubby back in the days. I've been following you since you had 2,000 and now you're like a couple 100,000 following.
Yeah.
I remember when you would do a film something when you were just starting. It's amazing what growth you've really put into yourself. And
I really appreciate that. You know, since you've been following us for so long, you know, the beginning when we married when I was 30. So my 30s was a completely bizarre era for me. I was figuring out what it meant to be in a marriage and a relationship. And I learned that it was so much more than just a monogamous commitment to one another, which is all that I really thought it was when I actually did agree to be married. But now I've learned that it's really about a partnership and how to grow and expand. And it's so much more just about others and the contributions that we can make. But going back to then, I really still only knew about me. You know, I had grown up kind of taking care of myself, you know, since I was 17, I moved to Los Angeles by myself. So I was really kind of just focused on me. What do I want to do? Where can I go? I have to only depend on me. And then the 30s came and now I'm married and then I have 2 kids. So I'm figuring out motherhood. I end up trading in my career to trade up to this empire thing that panned out, fortunately. So the 30s was difficult in the sense that it was a growth and a learning. But now in my 40s, I have the Grant thing in our empire. My kids are now 7 and 9 years old, so they don't require so much attention. So now I feel like I know this world. It's not a learning thing for me anymore. I've learned so much how to do this that now this hand is free to start painting and letting people in to see what I did to help contribute to that, to help fast track their way to success. So now that I have this up and running, it's fun. And I'm glad that you've noticed that now I'm really starting to brand out on my own with the intention of all funnels coming back into the fold as us as a couple. It's not just how it was once, just me in my 20s leaving anyone else behind. It's really an integration now on how to get more people into our empire. So I'm glad you noticed, and thank you very much for that acknowledgement.
yeah, I love how you talk about integration and how you talk about having your left hand being free now. Because as a mom, and you want to be a good mom, and you also want to be a great professional.
Yes.
And change the world and impact the world. But I think you're doing such a phenomenal job that you're not only impacting the world, because I heard you made over 30,000 people cry at the 10X.
That astounds me every time I hear that
Speech that you just did. And your kids are just stepping into their own identity as an entrepreneur, as learning and being a model to your children.
Yeah.
And it gives permission to a lot of us women that although there's always a woman behind every man's success, but that woman can also chase her own success.
Right. And vice versa. I mean, I definitely wouldn't be where I'm at without having someone with equal magnitude as mine pushing me, encouraging me, and supporting me along the way. And, you know, for all the moms out there, I would just love to bring back this notion of the importance of motherhood. I think that we in society have sort of downgraded our position or made it like, kind of like, yeah, I'm just a mom, rather than like, it would be a glorious day for me when all the people of the world were like, you're a mom? Like a real mom? One that takes pride and is interested in raising a healthy, productive, contributing member into society, and that's going to flourish and prosper and help the next generation. To me, that's the most valuable position there is on the planet. It's more powerful than any position I could hold as an executive or as a business person or whatever. And the reason I know that, and every mother or father knows this, is you would trade it all in a heartbeat if your kid needed you to, or they were sick or whatever. You would give your life for the child. So motherhood and the people that take that position and hold pride in it and admiration for the position, just I'd love to see that day come back.
Well, I love that you said that, because so the vision that I have for the podcast is to mother the world. And I think that it's a play on to change the world. Mm-hmm. I think that to raise impactful men and impactful people to impact the world is you have to mother. There's no right or wrong way to mother, right? We just do our very best as a mom. We all do. Yeah. So did our moms.
I think there's a wrong way to, I think there can be, unfortunately, a wrong way to mother, I think. But I agree with you as a general statement. Take a healthy, sane woman who is a mother. Yes, they are definitely just trying to do the best with what they've been given and how they were raised and how they were taught. Yeah, I agree with that.
Absolutely. So talk about your childhood, because I know that there's a lot of correlation on the drive that we have as an adult. How was your childhood, if that's okay with you?
Yeah, my childhood, up until the age of 14, actually, was fairly, there were no problems. Little problem in nursery school. There was a little abuse there, some physical abuse there. But, back in the day, I think kids were a little more roughed up than they are now. My parents, I grew up in a loving environment. My parents were both monogamous. They didn't drink. They didn't do drugs. I didn't witness them fighting in front of one another. The only thing I witnessed as a child was that we were always under this constant pressure of not having enough money to save, cut the lights out, kind of eat your food mentality, not being able, looking at the price on everything, having to put things back. Which was normal. Everyone was kind of raised, at least around me, in the same way. I played sports. I was a major daddy's girl. Like, he wanted 2 boys, he got 2 girls. He made do with me. I was the youngest. I was very happy to fulfill that role. I was like, he was just like my best friend, my champion. So I did baseball, football. When kids were young enough to compete with boys, not after the age of 10, 11. Then I just got dominated by boys as they got stronger and stuff. But when I was 7, 8, 9, and we could play kickball in the streets and throw footballs and tackle, I destroyed the guys. So that's how I grew up. Very competitive, very competitive. I still am very competitive.
Amazing. How did you end up in becoming an actor? And you were doing modeling too. Right?
Well, my father always wanted to be a radio star. He was a lot older. He's passed away now, but he fought in World War II, just to give you an idea. So he grew up in that depression. So that was the radio era back then. So he wanted this. I don't know if it's in my blood, but we used to watch these TV shows and we would act them out with each other and we would be so dramatic. It was just a world of fun and play and create. And so he kind of encouraged that from me, I think, because he had never developed that for himself. So when he saw that I had an interest in it, he really kind of pushed me to go in that direction. And then it sort of became something I just fell on as my kind of saving grace or my out. I went to a very rough high school, a public high school. So I did my 9th grade the whole day I spent there. Then I found out about this school called NOCA, the New Orleans Center for Creative Arts. My sister told me about it. You could either go for writing, art, dance, acting, or a musical instrument. And since I had zero talent in anything else, I tried out for the acting department and made it in. But that was my escape from the public rough school. So then 10th, 11th, and 12th, I only had to spend 3 hours a day at the rough school. Then I drove myself to the other school where I had arts for the rest of the day. I did acting for the rest of the day, which was like play. So then at 17, I had become kind of a wild child from 14 to 17, kind of lost myself, if you want to say that. And I was really looking to escape New Orleans at 17. And that's when I went to Los Angeles and tried to do the modeling and the acting thing. But again, that was the only thing I knew how to do or wanted to try to do to escape New Orleans. So I always had that avenue of, that was really the only thing to get me somewhere other than where I was. So then I moved to Los Angeles at 17, didn't know anybody, but didn't care. I was so wild and brave back then. Now I look back and I'm like, damn, that's impressive. But back then it was no big deal.
If your kids did that, you're probably like, no, heck no.
Oh my gosh, I know. My parents sat me down. They didn't want me to leave. They said, oh, we're worried you're going to get peer pressured by those Hollywood types. And that's when I sat him down and said, nobody can really peer pressure me. I've kind of been there, done that. I'm actually leaving to go make a better life for myself. So I can't really be peer pressured to be cool because I'm over that phase.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And actually that kind of brought him some sort of comfort to realize that I was actually going there to make better of myself. And then I did. You know, it wasn't perfect. I didn't just kind of clean up overnight, but overall I did a good job.
Wow. I heard Grant talk about some drug addiction on his interview with London Real.
Yeah.
And you both are from the South, right?
We're both from Louisiana. We're both from the state of Louisiana.
So I didn't know this about you, but I knew this about Grant, that you're both from the same town, but you didn't meet there. You met in LA.
Right. We're from the same state. We're actually from two opposite sides of the state. He's from Lake Charles, Louisiana, which is on the Texas border. And I'm from New Orleans, which is kind of closer to Mississippi. So I'm over here on the cool side and he's off on that side. But you know, we didn't meet until years later in Los Angeles, another LA.
Wow.
Louisiana, you know, is LA. Yeah. So yeah, that was just a twist of irony there that's sort of cool because we both like crawfish. We both know about Mardi Gras. We're both Saints fans. I mean, it's just fun, you know?
But you didn't give him an attention that he wanted at first. He had to like call you several times.
Yeah, he did. That's true.
He had to apply his 10x activity on you, but it worked.
It worked. And he said it's not stalking if it works. So, you know, at our wedding, oh gosh, it's on tape too. I was like, tissue, you know, secretly. But I was actually, during our wedding vows, I was saying, you know, why didn't you find me sooner at our wedding? I was mad at him for waiting so long. Why did it take you a year and a month to get me? Why did you let me push you away so long? Why didn't you find me 10 years sooner?
But sometimes it's when you're ready, right? You have to be ready for each other. Yeah. What made you create your own identity? And what I love about your message is that you can support each other because coming from the network marketing industry, there's a lot of marriage that gets broken in that industry because somebody or someone is a go-getter and the other one is the negative sayer. Like how you must be a super strong woman to allow your husband to go and not just allow, but like push him to do all the things that he does and encourage him. And now you have that identity of somebody that's always supported their husband. That's literally like you're a badass.
I try to be. I'm trying to be.
You know?
Thank you. Yeah, I've always wanted support from 17. Like I said, I moved to Los Angeles. I was trying to be a model. I did model. I went around the world and acted. I was on several TV shows, episodic. I did a couple movies. And it's not hard. It is hard to find somebody who supports you and really encourages you, especially to be gone and this and that. So I have always understood never to get in the way of somebody's work, because I've always understood what that meant to me and how people have tried to stymie me in the past, especially guys, because that's the kind of guy I dated back then. I only dated guys that fell into the they hold me back category, because I had this idea about men that they hold me back. So I wasn't going to find a Grant Cardone when I lived with these goggles on that said men hold me back. Of course, I was attracted to the one that when I got with them, they held me back to make myself right, that all men hold me back. So I don't know what I was saying about that. The support, I guess I was saying that it's never been hard for me to support Grant because I know what it's like to not be supported. So I've never lost my identity. Even when I traded in my acting career in order to trade up for this empire, I didn't know where the empire was going. I didn't know I could get it to as big as it is now. I had always thought so. I'm not where I want it to be. I still wanted to expand it and make it even bigger.
Wow.
But I've always had a strong sense of my identity. I needed to have more of my identity and be more confident in who I was when I had to go tell everybody I'm giving up my acting career because I'm going to go do this with Grant Cardone, my partner, where everyone in Hollywood looked at me, or I perceived that they looked at me like, she's a sellout. She gave up her thing to go be with rich guy over here and have an easy life, which is not what I did. But had I not been the person that I strive to be, which is courageous and comfortable enough with who I am in my own identity to say, you know what, have your opinions. I'm still doing this. I could look like a complete dumb if this thing falls out and he dumps me or leaves me for somebody else, or it doesn't work out. I mean, you name it. I had the thought about it.
Wow.
And finally, I just went all in on myself. I went all in on us to say, you know what? If the worst case scenario were to happen, I always land on my feet. I'm a survivor. I'm not a victim. Bad things have happened to me. It still doesn't make me a victim. I'll always come out on top. I'll always find a way to climb to the top. And, so we do support each other. And now I'm just able to be more apparent and transparent with who I am and have always been to be, but more importantly, who I'm constantly striving to be. Wow. I still want to be this person. I'm only 15% of my potential right now. I'm very low where I've hit my potential.
Wow. Okay. I want to dive deep into this because you just sealed the deal with this topic of I'm not where I want to be. You said that earlier. And I want it to be way bigger. But for a lot of us that looks up to you and Grant, it is massive for us, right?
Yeah.
And you guys have accomplished so much. But here comes Elena Cardone saying, I'm not where I want to be. It can be so much bigger. And then you gave me the number. You're only at 15% of your potential.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
Yeah, it's very true. And it's why I'm able to come out now, because I have some statistics behind me that are legit. And I recognize that. And so I'm able to come forward and say, hey, you guys can come on board now for the rest of the ride because of my interest in fast tracking your success. Anyone out there who's interested, I'm not saying my way is perfect, but I have stats in the area that you can say, and I can impart on somebody and say, this is what I did that doesn't work. This is what I do to say red flags on these people, this type of person, da, 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 da. Watch for them, know what you're looking for. And this is the successful actions and the things that I do right. If you so choose, you can skip that or learn from that and go here. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. But no way am I near where I want to be. I am
okay.
Not even close.
You're flying in this amazing private jet.
Yeah, that's a trophy. That's a trophy. In boxing or MMA, that's called a title belt. The plane is a title belt. It's a trophy. But continue.
I love
that.
That.
Reward in the physical universe that said, yes, this has shown up because you made this sacrifice, you made this right decision, you made that right decision, you stuck together, you were ethical, you were monogamous, you were this, you were that. You didn't cheat when you might have been tempted. I mean, not cheat husband-wise, or maybe so. I don't care. Cheat business, anything. Cut corners, nothing. That is a replication in the physical universe of everything we have done right. It's called a reward. And
wow.
Those are very important to collect trophies and jewels, if you will, along the way, because those are the rewards. Do you need them? Do they make your identity? No. But they are rewards, and they are to be enjoyed, and I am definitely enjoying it. And it's helping me get to the people, which is going to help me hit my true potential when I am global and I have gotten the message out and I have helped people. That's another reward.
Wow. Wow. Goosebumps all over my body. Seriously.
Thank you.
Yeah, goosebumps, because I think that you guys not only mentor people in business. You know how I call my show Being Mother Hustler. It's mama first and then hustler, side by side motherhood. But the way that you guys are mentoring the world really is you can literally have it all and have a successful marriage in the process. And by doing the things that you have been doing, and you're teaching the world of how to do that.
Yes. And it is about having it all. But having it all also comes with sacrifices. And having it all doesn't always look like the fairy tale of, this perfect in love all the time. We have so much of that. That's true. We have fun. We have laughter. We have inside jokes. We have, vacation time in between work time, if that's what you want to call it. We have experiences that are just awesome. But I am never going to stand in front of anyone and pretend to be this like I live in a movie or in a fairy tale, because I don't live in like I say to my, I've said this line before. I believe in magic. I believe in unicorns and rainbows, but I don't live in a fairy tale. So life is real. It affects me like it affects anyone else. I have sensitive feelings like anyone else. I get hurt. I have to go to battle constantly with a lot of people because I'm on a massive level. And there are people out there who, for whatever reason, have their upsets, don't get us. There's just stuff. You don't get to this point where it's just this lovey-dovey. You made all this money, you're flying private, everyone loves everything you do, and doors just open and things just work out. It doesn't happen like that for me. It's like constantly a fight to have a good marriage, to be a good mom, to keep up with my body, to keep up with my looks, to fight the enemies, the true ones. I ignore the haters. Who cares about them? They can say whatever they want. True enemies, you gotta be tough, and you gotta be willing to, the name of your show, a mother, if someone's gonna be a mother to you, and they're gonna threaten your empire, you better be a mother and a half back. And you've got to get yourself up to a place where your empire, your family, your friends are worth having to deal with standing up and fighting for, and be strong enough to not back down or be a coward. So there's a lot going on. There's a lot to deal with.
Amazing. And thanks for pulling the curtains on that, because, you know, it's fun to watch those private jets that you guys are on. It's fun to watch all, but I'm so glad that you talked about it's not rainbows and unicorns. It's a fight every day.
It's a fight every day. It is a fight every day. And, you know, in between those moments, you got to break them up with fun. You got to bring in the fun. You got to create interest. You got to create love. You got to create all this, because when you're not doing that, you're going right back into the fight, and you can't get stuck there. You know, you just can't. You can't get stuck there. You can't let the enemy win. They want to see you fail. They want to see you in a fight with your husband. Nothing makes them happier than you tripping up and falling. They're dying for that. So every single day I got to fight to not be in a fight with my husband. I got to fight to be a good mom and not snap at my kids because I'm irritated because this one just freaking jacked me over here, you know? Like, I got to fight to be my best person every single second of every single day, not only for me, but for my kids, for my husband, for the community, for the people that I'm out there saying, hey, we can all step up our game and rise to the top, you know? So I have to hold myself accountable every day.
Amazing. You talk about the 15% that you're barely scratching the surface. What is the target here? If you're only 15%.
Well, I have Grant's target. I have our target as a couple. I have my target now, which is I want to create a legion of empire builders. I want to leave a legacy of empire builders. So now I've written this book, How to Build an Empire, How to Have It All. I'm about to do an online platform where people can like go through all the steps with more exercises and really expand a lot more than I could in just the book. So that's going to be a whole program. Then I would love to do speaking engagements or women empowerment seminars delivered just to women, maybe at first, maybe expand. But then I want this on a global scale. So I want to be doing this on a massive level. I want everyone to have the concept that they have an empire right now, whether they know it or not. Whether you're the empire of your one little cat in your one little studio apartment, or you have an empire with multiple employees and staff and crew and friends and people and social media around the world, that's an empire too. So I have that. I have Cardone Capital. I want to develop that into at this point, the target is a $10 billion business. 10 billion is just a mark. It's just the title fight card. Like I need the belt. I don't know how to describe it. You know, I want to be a multi-billionaire. I want a Forbes thing. Do I need all that? No, those are just rewards. Like I said earlier, those are just, wow, here you go. You did it, you know? And who did you have to become in order to achieve that? Because little people don't achieve that. No. You have to grow and expand and constantly be pushing and going through those pains to reach out and to be bigger and push yourself more than you thought you had in you or you thought capable of impacting. So that's where I want to go. And I haven't done that yet. I've only scratched the surface. Nobody knows who I am. I only have 200, and I'm very grateful. I only have 200,000 followers on Instagram. I want the world to know me. I want to know the world. That's what I want.
Girl, if people are smart like me, when you were tagging along, you were behind the scene, I said, I know Grant Cardone, but I want to know her. I want to know who she is because I know that you are a contributor to the success even before the world know who Elena Cardone is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
well,
you're doing amazing. Amazing. Oh, wow.
Thank you. Well, you know, and Grant will tell you this. I've sort of been kind of the architect of things, and Cardone Capital and that kind of a thing came out of a vision that I had Years ago, I wanted him to become a billionaire. I told him he needed to become a billionaire. It's in the book. I tell this story. He was so furious at me, so furious. How could you? Because he's the doer. Like, he can do things I can't do. Like, I have the visions and I have the ideas, but I can't implement them. I don't have his experience. I don't have his negotiation skills. I don't have his ability to understand real estate. But the two of us together, when I have these visions and this is what I want and this is where I want, and I finally explained to Grant, I don't need you to be a billionaire because I need a Chanel jacket. Those are not, those are rewards, but I don't need that to be me. I need you to become a billionaire for a couple of reasons. One, because you're big enough to become a billionaire. If you become a billionaire, it means you must have affected so many people in order to give you money to exchange your product that you are known on a massive level, and you deserve to be known on a massive level. You are a big boy, Grant Cardone. Go be a big boy and play against the big giants of the world. But the only difference is you make a difference for the better, and you bring on all the little people, which is all of us, and we can all go with you. The other big boys aren't doing that. The other thing is when a man of that magnitude is really supposed to be this, but is playing down here, I and everyone else around him become the target because we're easy. We're right there. So boom, boom, he's hammering me. I'm the wrong target. If I focus him on a big target and say, have at it, go. When you come back, I'll be here. I'll nurture you. I'll pat you back up. Go back out and be that dude, you know, that one. You know, then I'm not being attacked all the time. You know what happens to me when I do that? He goes off, fights the wars, comes back in. He might be a little agitated. Put a little food in front of him. He's very like a Neanderthal. I hope he doesn't get offended by that. Put a little food in front of him, and the next thing you know, he loves me. He's like, oh my God, you're my teammate. He wants to tell me everything. He wants me with him every second. Like, you know, he trusts me. He depends on me, and I depend on him. So I have no issue with not being an independent woman anymore. Now I'm a very dependent woman. I depend on my man. I depend on myself. I depend on us, and we depend on each other. So I have no care about all these words and titles and what I'm supposed to be and all these concepts of this. You can only do it this way or that way. I'm doing it my way. I'm figuring out what works for me, what works for us, and I'm going.
Wow. Amazing. Amazing. And you are literally becoming the coach for a lot of married people in business, because business in the old ways, a lot of business people are successful in their business, but they fail at home.
Oh, yes.
And the way that you guys are modeling is you're showing the world that you can be successful in business and at home at the same time.
Yeah.
And as parents, because we all see how you are raising your kids, Scarlett and Sabrina. Everybody knows them. And we see every time, you know, you're making hamburgers, you're doing story and love.
Yeah.
The Instagram is like the best technology there is, because you can really see the behind the scenes of people.
Yeah.
And it makes you relatable, even though you're Elena Cardone.
That's funny to me.
You're like, girl, I'm just Elena Cardone. But
that's all I am. That's all I am. That's how I feel.
Talk about your self-care, because I see you shooting your guns, practicing on your guns all the time. You're doing a lot of kickboxing. You're doing a lot of self-care. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Grant didn't make a lot of time for those things, and you essentially forced him in a good way to take care, because you can't get to your target unless you're healthy, right?
Well, I believe in health big time. You know, I have Grant's not retiring anytime soon. He's got to work for 30 years if he wants. Why not? You know, so I need him in top shape. So yeah, you know, I just got into the martial arts world a year ago. Before that, I had never done it. I was a runner. I've done cardio machines at the gym. I never did weights. So I just kind of fell into that this past year, and it's been incredible. I wish I would have found it since, as a teenager. I think it would have really helped me. Oh God, I'd love to be that good. Can you imagine part of that? And the shooting, yeah, that's a passion. I love shooting. I just love it so much. I don't get to do enough of it, but yeah, it just really makes me, both worlds, the martial arts and the shooting, are very similar to the entrepreneurial world to me. Hitting targets, focusing, strategizing how you're going to run a play or how you're going to do something, having the discipline to not get all wild when things get wild, or you get off of your path, or you did a wrong move when you meant to do this. Like, it just all goes together for me. Like, it's just very similar. And, yeah, Grant had 2 torn rotor cuffs, something wrong with his ankle. He was complaining all the time that his body was hurting. And then it was my martial arts guy that was like, you've got to get Grant to do weights. I'm like, he can't do weights. He's got all these problems. He's like, it's the muscles. He needs to do the muscles. So I said, tell me who to call. He gives me his trainer's name, Anthony. I set Anthony up with Grant. And Grant's very, obsessive personality too. So after I had set up 3 days a week, after 2 weeks, he was going 6 days a week. Wow. Now he does 6 days a week, twice a day, because he does his cardio at night. Wow. He looks phenomenal. They started off with bands. He couldn't even do a push-up at first. He did the physical therapy, Anthony. Now he's doing push-ups. He's in great shape, and it's all paying off, and he's not complaining. His body's not hurting anymore. It's amazing. Yeah. And it just makes them stronger and more confident in life. Everyone does better when they feel better about themselves. When I've gained a few extra pounds, I'm always like, oh, it makes me angry. Does it make other people angry? Like, I don't like it. I don't like the way I feel. I feel short. I mean, not short. I feel short with people.
Yeah. Short-fused.
Huh?
You're short-fused.
Short-fused. I feel unhappy when I don't take care of myself and I don't, percolates in me. So it's a great stress reliever of all the other stuff going on. And it just makes me sharper and more aware and able to deal with life. So.
Wow. Well, Grant looks great. You always look great, but Grant has evolved.
I know. I'm like, dang it.
I saw your Mexico picture.
So fast.
Yeah. Guys, they just like, bam.
That's what my trainer said. He was like, he's a guy. I'm like, but I've been doing it longer. How come I don't look like that?
Yeah, I saw him like flex on your Mexican vacation.
Yeah, he's huge.
That's awesome.
Flabby. I'm boxing every day, and I'm like, dang it.
So your kids, they're adorable, by the way. Or first, I want to talk to you about speaking. How was your first speaking engagement at 10X Con? Were you scared to death?
Yeah, I get nervous before every single one. But I had a lot of theater background and a lot of experience in front of audiences. I was on a show called USA High. We did 95 episodes. We filmed in front of 2 live audiences in the morning and at the afternoon for 300, like I said, for 95 episodes. So I'm used to crowds. So the first one, of course, I was nervous. But once I got out there, I just kind of flew and did my thing. And I thought it went pretty good. The second one, same sort of a thing, terrified. I go through this whole thing beforehand. I'm like petrified. And I said after the first one, I was never going to do it again. Then here comes GrowthCon 2. I do the same thing to myself. The minute I get out on stage, I'm like, And then I said, I am definitely not doing that for GrowthCon 3. But no one told me GrowthCon 3 was going to be for over 30,000 people and an arena. So I was terrified. My legs were shaking. They shake at every single one. But I figured no one can really notice. I'm so far away. Maybe I won't be exposed. And I've learned, you know what? It doesn't matter how you feel. No one knows how you feel. No one can feel what you feel. unless you're up there really embarrassing yourself and everyone feels sorry for you. But I've just learned to do it anyway, no matter if you feel fear or not. So yeah, so my third one, I did the same thing and I was terrified. But once I got out there, I could feel everybody. I felt like that arena of 30,000, I felt like the people all the way at the top were in the same room with me. I felt so much positive energy. I felt like I was just amongst friends having a conversation, and it just went, you know, it was great.
Wow. So this is coming from a person that didn't want to do it again, but now part of your target is to be able to speak a lot, which is
Yeah,
amazing.
it is um, because it's not really like the thing that I would want to do is to speak in front of people. But because I believe in myself, my message, my product, and what I can potentially do for others, I'm willing to get better at it and do it because I feel like the bigger cause is more important than myself and my feelings.
So true.
Yeah.
So true. So your kids being a mom, what do you love about being a mom, and what is your message to Sabrina and Scarlett?
Well, I love being a mom on so many levels because they've taught me so much. Every mother knows, like, wow. I mean, whoo, it's so challenging. It's so difficult at times. And um, to rear them in the proper way that you're not going to hinder their abilities is like a big responsibility. I'm definitely up for the challenge. I've definitely made mistakes. I definitely have laid my head down at night going, dang it, I was a little too cruel there. I said something I shouldn't have said. I was a little too harsh. But I know overall that I want my kids to grow up and be confident and happy, and I want them to be braver than I was. I want them to experience things. I want them to be able to learn anything, to be able to do anything, to be able to talk to anyone around the world. So I'm very committed to explaining to them. I try to put myself into their shoes all the time. Like, I see so many parents that will reprimand a 3-year-old or a 4-year-old and act like they should know something an adult knows. They don't know. Why would they know? And why would you think that they would know by you only telling them 1 or 2 times? A 3-year-old and a 4-year-old has an attention span of a gnat. They're like, boom, 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 boom. You tell them something, it comes in, it goes out as fast as it came in. So, I constantly try to educate them. I try to tell them as much about a scenario, and then I can say, it's your choice. I give them choices. It's your choice. We can do this. And in this, you can do any of this, but you can't go over here. If you go over here, this is the ramifications. They will never be hit by myself or my husband. Do not believe in that. I don't believe a stronger man should fight a woman. It's not a fair fight. I don't believe an adult should hit a child. It's not a fair fight. And why would you try to force someone to do good by punishment? That's not how you force somebody to do good. You don't make somebody good by giving punishment. You make somebody good by giving them education and love. Yes. But you do have rewards, and you do have penalties. You do have. So if they do this, hey, you know what? You're off TV for a week if you do this. You're off sugar if you do that. You're off whatever, like there's a thing. You're going to have to make up the damage if you do that, because you harmed people. You harmed your sister. You harmed the family. You're Team Cardone. We contribute. We want to make a difference on the planet. We want to be better. We are a model couple. That does come with a responsibility. And the kids know that. When I go out of town, you're expected. Your job. You have a job. Your job is to take care of the house, protect the fort, take care of the people looking after you. And then they feel like, wow, I'm a contributing member. I'm not just some child here. I have a position. I have a job in this family. They can take ownership and take pride. It makes them feel proud and contributing, not like a kid who has to be told every little thing that they're doing. Like, I think about that all the time. about being a kid. I can't even imagine how horrible it would be. Every single decision. Can I have a popsicle? Can I have candy? Which they have to do. They have to run by me.
Mhm.
But I can't imagine how horrible that would be. I can't even make a decision if I can have candy. Sucks.
Yeah.
So I'm constantly trying to empathize with them. And my message to them would be, you know what? I hope that I can give them all the tools that they need to go off and leave the nest and become happy, healthy, productive, and contributing members of society. If they do that, I did my job.
Wow. Amazing. What's your message to Grant?
I mean, he makes me so proud. He's the most courageous human being I've ever met in my entire life. I wish I was more like him on so many levels. Then so many levels, I'm constantly cleaning up behind him because I'm like, whoa, like if you say that and people don't know you, it can come off like this, but he doesn't see things like I see things. He sees very blunt, boom, boom, straight. So my message to Grant would be, keep being you, keep doing you. If I can facilitate and help him in any way, deliver a more havable communication with where more of the world could understand him better, I'm happy to partner up with him and help him do that. But he doesn't really need so much my help. I mean, he's an extraordinary human being that I'm really proud to be and to help support him with his mission of, creating financial literacy for the world so that people can take care of their own families. So it's a message I support, and who can't not back that?
Wow. Wow, girlfriend, you are amazing, amazing human being. So thank you for just showing up the way that you do every single day.
Thank you.
You for being a great model to a lot of women, not just moms.
Yeah, thank you.
And wife too, because, I think whether you're wife or husband or anybody that has a spouse, I think it was truly important to support your significant other, because I think that we were built as pieces to the puzzle, and we're supposed to come together to create this big puzzle.
Yeah. I say it in my book, like, be each other's biggest fan, because I can say things about Grant that he can't say about himself that give him validation, and vice versa. He can say things about me that just sound better coming from him. So it's easy when you're in a relationship to want to bash your partner, because Grant is not perfect. I am not perfect. There are days, that's why I tried to be transparent. There are days when I don't like him. There are days when I think, I don't even know if I love him. But I know ultimately that's not true, because love is created and we are deeply in love with each other. But no matter what, on those days, no matter what, whether we like each other or not, he can trust that I'm not bashing him. He can trust me to get the job done. He can trust me to continue to be a good mother and uphold myself to my own accountability, and vice versa. So I'm definitely not on the partner bashing bandwagon.
That's awesome. So before I ask my last question, because we're at 1 p.m. here in Pacific Standard and 4 p.m. your time, where can we find you? And I know that you're all on Instagram a lot, but my listeners may not know. So tell us where we can find you. And I've seen that you just made your book available for free, plus just shipping and handling. So tell us everything of what you have going on.
Okay, so I am on all social medias as Elena Cardone, ELENA CARDONE. I'm very good at responding on Instagram, but I'm on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. I have some people helping me with that. Other than the Instagram's the only one I'm hands-on. The other ones I have some help on. I have my book at elenacardone.com/empire. You can get it for free. It ships for free in the United States. But if you are international, I would recommend getting the audio version. And the book It can be on Audible, Spotify. What else? Do you know? iTunes. Oh, and I do a show called Women in Power that's also on iTunes. I do the G&E Show, which is also on iTunes. I have my podcast, Elena Cardone Podcast. And I've now started this YouTube channel that's up and running, and it's doing great. So pretty much I'm trying to get everywhere. Hopefully you'll stumble upon me. Hopefully you'll subscribe or follow. I would love that.
She's so much fun to follow because she's so real. So if you are not following Elena Cardone, find her, Elena Cardone. She is the one and only Elena Cardone in the world.
Oh, I'd appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Elena, last question. When you heard the word mother hustler, what came to mind, and what is Elena Cardone's definition of it?
Oh man, I just loved it because mother hustler remind me of hustler baby, and it also is like a mother. And I think you have to be what is a mother hustler to me? A mother hustler is someone who is strong enough to take a hit, tough enough to take a hit, strong enough to deliver a blow, willing to be courageous enough to stand up for herself, her family, her community, her empire, won't back down when she knows that it's for the right cause, doesn't get involved in having to be right about pettinesses, is willing to suck it up to be stronger and the better person in those scenarios. And that's what it, and a true mother hustler will get the job done. It doesn't matter if she has to scrape toilets. Nothing is beneath her or above her or below her. She will do whatever it takes to achieve the mission and her cause and her purpose and get herself out there and be heard and contribute her greatness to the world.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you so much, sister. I really appreciate you carving a little bit of time for me and my listeners, and I appreciate you doing your thing. I know you're going to get to your 100%, 15%. I think you're 100%, but you know, it's relative.
Thank you.
Thank you, and have an awesome day.
So nice meeting you, Karen. Thanks for having me on the show.
Yes, ma'am.